Bitcoin is up almost 7% today, rocketing up to $66,000 before coming back down again. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the reason why Bitcoin's been going up, what it means for the Bitcoin price, and my expectations for the future price momentum. But before we get to that, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow me on X and Threads. So first off, the reason why Bitcoin is up so much today, you had the CPI report, which is the Consumer Price Index report that came out today. Now, specifically, they mentioned on a 12-month basis, it increased 3.4%, which was in line, but it was a decrease from last month. Okay, so that is primarily the reason why we saw a major market rally, not only in the traditional markets, but also in crypto as well. And this was a bullish catalyst that I have been talking about from the beginning of the week, that potentially speaking, if it did come in line, or if it even came in a little bit lower, that we could see a very nice rise at the start of the day. And in fact, we did. So if we go ahead and take a look at our Bitcoin chart TA, we can see here that Bitcoin has made a strong break out of this downwards channel right here. Let me just get rid of this for a sec. You guys can see this. This downwards channel that's been in play basically since about April, March-ish. It has been stuck in this downwards channel, and every single attempt that it's made to break out of this channel has been sold off. So far, we're actually starting to see a strong amount of buying pressure push Bitcoin higher and push out of this downwards channel. That's what we want to wind up seeing for Bitcoin. We want to see not only a strong day like today, but we also need to follow that up with a couple of additional green days in order to confirm this breakout. And then if that happens, then I do think that we could wind up testing some support here at, let's call it maybe about 69K or so, 69,000. We could definitely see Bitcoin go up to about 69,000 before when it encounters some strong resistance. And then even higher than that, I could potentially see a breakout here to 70K, to go back to that 70K region that we saw back in April and March. Now, I do think this is contingent on Bitcoin continuing the momentum that we've seen from today, and especially making higher lows. Bitcoin absolutely needs to make higher lows and continue this breakout. I do think that we can come up here and retest 70K in the near term, as long as this breakout is confirmed. Now, one of the reasons why Bitcoin went up so much today, besides the CPI, is we had major liquidations. So again, we go over here to CoinGlass, we take a look at liquidations, and we can see here that short liquidations have actually hit almost $50 million in the last 24 hours. And in fact, if we go ahead and take a look at our liquidation heat map, we can see something that I had talked about previously in my last video, and that is this massive liquidity level here at about 63,600 or so. This was about $500 million worth of short liquidity, that if Bitcoin came anywhere near this region, then I said that it was going to pop and move up much, much higher. And in fact, that's what actually wound up happening. So this major level of shorts got squeezed here, and Bitcoin went from 63,600 to where it is up at about 66,000 or so. Now, that being said, we have a major amount of that liquidity that has been taken out of the system, and these shorts are going to be putting in new short levels at levels that are higher right now than where currently a Bitcoin is. So I would expect to see some new liquidity levels maybe here at about 67,000 or so in that region. Now, on the other side, there's also another major liquidity region here at about 60,000 or so, 60,400. Now, this is a pretty massive one, $500 million worth of long liquidations on the other side. So if Bitcoin ever does go back down to 60K, we can bet that it's probably going to punch right through 60 and probably even move much lower at that point. But that's a long way off from where Bitcoin is right now, and I do believe that there is more upside that is yet to come with Bitcoin. And I want to go ahead and take a look at your Bitcoin returns for the month of May. And so I said previously when I talked about the month of May that usually when it comes to May, it tends to be a strong month for Bitcoin. June, not so much, and especially August, also not so much. September is usually a bad month for Bitcoin. May is normally a strong month for Bitcoin, and so far we're actually starting to see close to the average. We're up about 9%, and the average is a little bit over, or almost 8% for May, traditionally speaking. So this is very in line with the expectations for the month. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about what long-term holders have been doing, because there's something very interesting going on with long-term holder behavior. Now, previously we talked about the short-term versus long-term supply of Bitcoin holders, and we had said that we were sitting at about 78% or so. So long-term holder supply made up 78% of the total Bitcoin supply. Now we're actually starting to see, instead of it move down, now we're actually starting to see it move back up again. So it went from 78% back then to about 78% and about 0.31 or so. Now, what this means is that the long-term holders have stopped selling as much as they did back during, say, February and March and April. So now we're starting to see this long-term holder supply move up again, and I think that it's a sign of the conviction from the long-term holders. They're holding on. They're waiting for a new all-time high, presumably, in order to sell their Bitcoin. So I think that this is a good sign so far. Now I'm going to get to the major news here, and that is $300 million worth of daily total net inflows to Bitcoin spot ETFs. This is an absolutely massive number. Just in a single day, $300 million worth of inflows to these Bitcoin spot ETFs. At the top here, we actually have the FBTC is actually the one at the top. So surprisingly, not IBIT this time, but FBTC and then BitB after that. And in fact, we actually had some inflows into GBTC, surprisingly, about $27 million worth or so. And so this is really an absolutely massive day for Bitcoin. I do believe that today's buying was fueled by CPI news, and then it caused short squeezes, and short squeezes pushed the price up much higher. And now we're starting to see in continued interest in the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And not only on the spot ETFs, but buying Bitcoin in general. If we go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin balances for whale addresses active in the last 24 hours, we can see here that from the 12th to the 13th of May, we don't have data for the 15th just yet, but from the 12th to the 13th, we can see almost 50,000 Bitcoin added into whale wallets over that period of time. Now, you guys will remember that if we take a look at the price here, and it's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the price, you can see here that that was from when Bitcoin went from about 63K down to about 61 and a half or so. And so whales have been buying Bitcoin at accelerated rates over the past couple of days. Okay, this right here, this entire rally over the past couple of days has been fueled by a lot of whales coming in and buying Bitcoin. Now, one of those whales has been, of course, our friend here, whale number 12, who continues to add to their Bitcoin stash, adding 100 Bitcoin on the 12th of May and another 100 on the 14th of May. It has been so far very interesting to watch this whale behavior and watch them load up on their Bitcoin when Bitcoin is much lower. So take it for what it's worth. The whales right now are looking to buy basically every single dip that Bitcoin has, and their conviction over the long term seems to be increasing compared to where it was in the earlier parts of the month, compared to where it was in April. So I think overall this is extremely bullish. Now, I'm going to have a video coming out in a couple of days also talking about ARK Invest's new Bitcoin monthly report. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the video, you like the video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys have been doing in this market, and I will catch you in the next video.